But big FANG names plus Microsoft, you added to. Talk to me.
We're seeing a significant rotation as it relates to momentum. I've talked about that quite a bit. The first place that is going to bottom is going to be the component of those momentum names, specifically growth technology. And with the valuation is not astronomically high, the revenue growth is consistent, and the capital allocation is present. We are now 4 weeks away from hearing from these mega cap technology companies about their earnings. I suspect the last quarter is going to be a very strong one, and I felt the time was now to take the other side of what has been a significant narrative in moving away from all of technology. I disagree with that. I want the established growth. I have positions in these three names, and I have no problem increasing them, which I've done here over the last 3 days.
This is a call that these stocks in particular, the FANGs, the mega cap technology stocks, have become somewhat disconnected with the fundamentals, right? The fundamentals have become disconnected with what the market has done. The stocks have pulled back down a lot, Joe. Apple's down 15.5% from its high. The Amazon's down 12.5% from its high. Netflix 11.5%, Alphabet 5.5%, Microsoft and Facebook 4.3% respectively. Is that part of this call? These stocks just came down too much?
Well, the loss of momentum became the fundamental. In the case of Apple, did we forget about the sales of iPhone 12? The introduction of this new product, which is going to be very strong? Did we forget about the fact that China is expanding and opening their economy at a very significant capacity, and so on the rest of the emerging markets? So the loss of momentum, that became the fundamental, and I don't like that.
All right. Dan Ives over at Wedbush puts a note out today, by the way, gang, on Apple, calls, talking about super cycle. It's hard to get more bullish than that. Okay. John Najarian, now I turn to you because you bought a lot of Facebook calls. So it's the same kind of conversation we're having. Talk to me now.
Yeah, I agree. Same kind of conversation as Joe. The Facebook calls, Scott, they were buying calls from the 290 strike, 290, 250, 295, 300, 305. I mean, everything. They were buying like crazy. You would have thought this was Reddit, and maybe it is, because many of those Reddit stocks, like GameStop and AMC, Scott, are down pretty hard. But this is reminiscent of that. They are just buying, 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 and not turning them over. But it's also big institutional buying. And not to put the Reddit crowd down, but I like the big institutional buying more than I like the retail buying. But clearly, there is a call out there where people are in there buying aggressively in Facebook today. Pete talked about it already early this morning. I had to join him. I owned the stock before. I'm adding a lot of Facebook calls throughout the day, and some of these calls have already doubled, Scott. So, yeah, there's a lot of upside bets being placed, and some of that is, of course, with rates down, stocks up, and people are still looking at stocks like Facebook, not just the ones you mentioned. I won't rehash it about the corrections, but Facebook is one of them that just looks like it wants to break out to new highs.